Are you ready, partner?
Y'all, buckle up, because you're in for a ride.
Ready for the quaw.
Quaw.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's your host, Jamie.
And Jamie. Today we have something a little fun. We're doing a Q&A.
If you haven't seen it on our Instagram,
Yeah.
why aren't you there? Why aren't you following us?
I feel like we've asked for like asked.
Why
I
do
have an
I
accent?
ask for
Like 3 times. Like, what's wrong with us?
because no one asks questions.
I know. Don't expose us like that.
I'm kidding.
Nobody likes us.
That's not true. That's not true.
No, we're just baby podcasters.
Yeah,
So
and that's okay.
We're growing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's great.
it's fine. It's
How,
fine.
how was your week? I feel like I haven't seen you in a few days.
I actually haven't seen you since Friday,
Friday night. Okay, I was like, what did we do on
which is
Friday?
like the longest it's
Yeah.
been in a long time.
Maybe that's why you had an attitude yesterday. You missed me.
So true. I did have some attitude. I've just been like so lazy and in a funk that I like couldn't get out of it. Like I've just been like I don't want to get out of bed. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to do anything.
It's probably the weather.
It probably because
Yeah.
I was so ready to tan because it was getting
Really?
warm. It was warm during the weekend, but I worked both days this weekend. And I was like, this week I'm going to tan because Corey was going out of town. And I was like, I have the time. I can do it. I'm off. Like, nope. Got
Yeah.
cold again. And I was like, this is the worst. Like, I just want to tan and
Yeah.
like be happy and
I know.
wear a sundress. Like, the
Literally.
weather really like affects my mood, I think. But it's been good. I just have been trying to get out of a funk, I guess.
Yeah. Do you want to share your test results?
Oh, yeah. So everything came back normal as far as my labs and the ultrasound. But it was kind of hard because I was like almost, this sounds bad, but like almost wanting something there so that like I had that like validation that something was wrong. And I still do think something's wrong, which, and I also think my doctor does as well. They want, I don't know if you know anything about endometriosis, but like they want to do the thing where you get like a little like incision and then they put like a camera through there and then they see like, oh, you have it, and then they would do the surgery to take it out. It sucks that like that's the only way to know,
Yeah, that's
because
crazy.
unless you have like really advanced endometriosis, it doesn't show up on ultrasounds, they said. So like I'm happy that I didn't have any like cysts or anything abnormal,
Yeah.
but I almost felt like it was a punch in the gut because I just felt like not validated.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, like this kind of sucks, but I was like, it's fine. Like I'm happy that it wasn't anything else. And I kind of like prayed over it, and I was just like thankful that nothing else was wrong, but I am going to try and like figure out what the best way to go about it now is, because I'm not really sure what I want to do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, it's good that there wasn't anything like alarming. you
Yeah.
know? But also I get it. Like you kind of were preparing yourself.
Mhm.
You were really like, okay, I'm ready for something to be bad. I'm ready for
Yes,
these results.
I know.
And then they're like, no. And you're like, oh.
But it's like, I know there's
Well,
something wrong. And like,
yeah.
I've seen a lot of videos on TikTok of other people with endometriosis saying like for years they felt crazy because
Oh.
it doesn't, like, everyone kind of thinks you're crazy because everything comes back normal unless you get the surgery. So it's like you literally have to like get a surgery just to see if you have it, but also get it out at the same time. And it's like, they say it's like not like a super excessive surgery, but like it kind of is. Like it takes like a few weeks before you can like actually walk around and do stuff, and like that scares me if I have to do that. And also it totally could come back.
Yeah.
It depends on
That's
what
so
you
weird.
get. Like you can get it burnt off, or like actually like get an excision specialist to like take it out, and that would like make it not come back faster. But like usually if you have it, like you're gonna have it forever kind of, and like it'll come back, or it
That's
has
crazy.
a chance of coming back. So I don't know, there's a lot, but I've kind of taken a break from thinking about it for a week ish. So I don't know. Thanks
Yeah.
for reminding me because I need to think about that
Yeah.
and
No,
talk to my
sorry
doctor about
remind
it.
you.
No. It was
You're
good.
like, wow, that was a great little break.
No,
there.
I know. I had like this lazy streak of like laying in my
Yeah.
bed all day. I was like, I don't want to do anything. Like all I did was work. Like
I'm not thinking.
I
I'm
did
not
like
doing
homework
anything.
ahead of time, so that, like the past few days I didn't have any homework to do. I was like,
That's nice.
but I need to get back into the routine because I felt it mentally. Like,
yeah.
yeah, my body's getting a break, but like I'm like going kind of crazy, like laying there just like, I don't want to do anything and like binging TV shows and stuff.
Yeah.
Have you seen the documentary of like the Ruby Frankie one?
Not yet, but I need to. Is it good?
It's
Well,
really,
it's
I mean,
sad.
it's not, yeah, like it's good, but it's really sad.
Yeah.
Like I started crying watching it. Like
Aw.
it's really sad and like
That's
definitely made me
crazy.
think of like whether I want my kids on social media in the
Yeah.
future, but like
I know it's hard. It's so sad because that happens, and I know people are all over the LeBrants for that, and they think that
oh
they
yeah,
like unpopular opinion. I really don't think there's anything crazy going on there, but you never
I don't
know.
either, but I mean, yeah, I know you never
And
know.
it's
'Cause
just-
I used
yeah.
to watch the like
No, me too.
8 Passengers or whatever,
Yeah.
and like, I mean, yeah, I think I
just that
watched
you
them though
never
because
know.
it seemed like it was kind of crazy because she seemed like kind of crazy even
Yeah.
before meeting Jody or whatever and like all
Mm-hmm.
this stuff, but because like she would start to expose like a lot of their
Yeah.
child. I think like that's where the line is. Like
Yeah.
she would start telling them like really personal information about her children, and that's where I think she crossed the line
Yeah.
from the beginning, at least.
I'll have to watch it. I also want to watch the Brian Laundrie one that just
I
got
haven't seen that.
Gabby Petito.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
yes. Okay, yeah. I know. I need to watch that too, but I really
I know.
maybe
I
that's
like,
why I'm sad.
No, I know. I watch these things and then I'm like depressed and anxious,
Yeah.
and I'm like, maybe I don't need this
I
information.
know, but it's also like I want to know their story
Yeah.
and like know maybe things that like I don't know, like signs you can look for, like I don't know, because I'm like I don't want to be like watching
You're like,
a
if Corey
YouTuber.
takes me
Oh.
to the middle of nowhere, I'm gonna know his intentions.
No, I'm just kidding. No, but I feel like even just like I don't want to watch people's content if like
Yeah.
it seems like they're just using their kids.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. Like you can have your kids on social media, but
Mhm.
you should, if they're like I don't want to, like take that in like no
Yeah.
means no situation.
Right.
Like don't.
Or if it becomes like that Ren Eleanor situation, did you see?
Mm-mm.
It
Who's
was the super cute little girl. She was like 2 or 3, and her mom kept posting videos of her like
I think I know.
like there was a trend going around of like how you use bathroom products, and she she took a brush and like brushed her hair, and then she like took a wrapped tampon and like showed her mom like what you do with it, and there was like a bunch of saves, a bunch of like creepy men commenting on
I
it,
heard about that.
and like the mom just kept producing content like that and
like
didn't.
sexualizing her child.
Yeah, it
that's
wasn't-
so wrong.
Yeah, and like that, if I got one comment like about my kids, I'd be like, okay,
Nope,
I'm done.
Removing you.
Yeah.
Exactly. I know.
Like
it's
it's just crazy.
like what does our world come to?
whose hands like those things can fall into? Like it's so
I know.
creepy.
It's so sad.
I don't know how we got to this topic.
I don't know. Totally just kept rambling, like per usual. You know this
Yeah.
by now.
We're certified yappers.
Yeah. But what has your week been like? I feel like
Mm,
we haven't really talked.
crazy. Like
Crazy?
always. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I just live in like chaos.
Do you think like it's your mindset? Like, do you think? Okay, this is like coming from me just overthinking it, but I'm like, do you think you could like trick yourself into thinking like you're not?
Yeah,
Or,
I mean, I
like-
think I do that sometimes, and it's not like I'm fine.
Yeah.
It's just chaotic, and
Yeah.
life, gets stressful, and that's okay. But I'm literally in the thick of it. Like I have 2 young kids.
Yeah.
I'm not sleeping.
Yeah.
I'm working a full-time job, and it's just a
It's
lot for
hard.
any person.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm super grateful for all of it. Like, I'm so grateful for my job. I'm so grateful to be busy with Bible studies and dinners and hosting
Yeah.
and all of these things, because that's what I love to do. But I think I just need to do better at giving myself rest.
Yeah.
Like, you've given yourself too much rest, and I
know.
haven't given myself any.
I know.
So let's trade a little bit.
I know. I'll give you a few days.
Yeah, thanks. Come take my kids. too, and let me
I
really
will.
rest.
I will once they don't need
Yeah,
you,
once
like, as
Macy's
much.
eating. Yeah,
Yeah.
that will be so good.
Yeah.
But it's been good. Just chaotic.
good.
I'm like, I always have to think like, what day is it? Like,
I know,
I just
I-
black out.
I don't even know. It's
Yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah,
I was like,
it's Thursday.
it's Thursday.
Thursday's always been my favorite day of the week. Isn't that weird? I don't know why. Tuesday has always been the worst day of the week, like worse for me than Mondays. I don't know why.
I feel like during school, like I
Thursdays are
hated.
so good.
This sounds really bad, but like Sunday nights, I would get like the scaries.
Yeah,
like,
no, me
before
too.
going to school, like I would hate it. But like
I still get it sometimes with my job.
I know, but I'm lucky. Like my job is not.
Yeah.
Well, see, I wish it was a Monday through Friday, but
Yeah.
it's fine. I know that I'm lucky, so
Yeah.
it's okay.
But yeah, if we want to jump in, I think we've yapped enough. Jeez.
Yeah, literally.
Jeez, Jamie.
Sorry.
Okay, so we did get quite a few questions from you guys, so thank you so much for submitting those.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
I was a little
then-
worried at first. I'm just kidding.
I know, she's like submitting questions herself, huh?
Yeah, literally. I did.
I did
think
not
I
know.
did
I
one
was
of
just
them.
kidding.
Oh no, I did one of them.
I'm jailed. Exposed.
But it's because we originally wanted to do this episode on like how to hear from God.
Yeah,
so that's
which
like
we'll touch on a little bit.
which we added just into
Yeah.
the questions, but that's the one I did.
yeah,
but
we wanted like a full
Yeah.
Q&A.
we wanted a roster.
Well, I will hop into it with the first question if you want to answer. Whose idea was it to start the podcast?
Well, it was both of ours. It was both of our ideas. I know originally, like, it was one day I was, like, driving, and I was like, I really want to start a podcast. Like, it just came to me. I was listening to worship music, and I was just like, I feel like I just have so much I want to say. Obviously, I talk a lot.
No.
But, no, you wouldn't say. No. But because I'm currently going to school for psychology, but I ended up changing my mind of what I want to do with my whole future. I'm not going to be using that degree, but I still wanted to finish it out because I do still love it. And I was like, I just feel like I have so much to say, and like I'm learning so much that I want to share. And along with that, I love the idea of like psychology within Christianity. I think they coincide. I mean, God, he created our brains. So anyways, but I was just like, I want to start a podcast.
Yeah.
And then it was funny. I didn't tell anyone that except for my boyfriend. And then you texted me or something that called me. Yeah, you called me.
I was like, I have a crazy idea.
You're like, what if we start a podcast? And I was like, I'm not going to lie. At first I was just like, I don't know, because I'm busy. Like I have school, a job, a dog, a boyfriend. And then we have Bible study. So I was just like, I don't know if I can add anything to my plate. But then I was like, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it hard. We're going to do it. Like, we're not going to just give up after doing one episode, or we're not just going to like give up. Like that wasn't an option. It was like, okay, we're going to do it at least a whole season, and then we'll like decide. And here we are. Yeah, here we are. We ended up loving it.
She's like, we need a designated area. We're not just going to be doing it in the car. Like, we're going to be
we're not going to do it like wherever.
Professional mics.
I know.
That's been our mic debacle.
I've been very, our whole mic thing.
Yeah.
See, we thought it was going to go great.
No, it is
But
great.
It's great now. I love these ones.
Yeah, these ones are cool.
They've been good
a
to
lot
us.
better.
Yeah, agreed.
We just need to get like arms for them once we have money. So if you want to donate, our GoFundMe link is in the
just kidding.
Just kidding.
Down below if you'd like to share.
Awkward. Cricket.
Just kidding. Don't. Anyway, I feel like that was kind of everything for that one. How did you start serving at church, and what areas have you served in?
Yes. So as I mentioned, I go to CCV, which is Christ Church of the Valley. I started serving in the nursery November of 2022, I think it was. And I did that for like almost 2 years, and I loved it.
Loved it.
I loved it. It was super just sweet, you know, and it was hard because it was like, okay, well, I'm not giving these kids anything, and I felt like I could be used more. But also I like switched my mindset, and I was like, no, like I'm making it possible for their parents to like attend and worship the Lord and
like,
all the things. So at the end, the reason I stopped serving was only because I was presented an opportunity to serve in high school. And I was like, that's scary. Like, teenage girls are scary.
Teenagers are scary. When I'm at work and like teenagers come in, I'm like,
oh yeah,
hi, can I help you?
Yeah, you're like, please don't yell at me.
And I'm like, please don't need help. Please don't.
No,
need help.
I know. And when I started, at first I was like so intimidated, and I was like, these girls aren't gonna like me. Like, they're gonna be mean. If they're anything like I was in high school, they're gonna be mean. Like they're just gonna hate me. But no, I love it. I've been doing it for 1.5 years now, and I think I just lucked out. I got the best girls ever, and they graduate in May, which I'm really sad about. So then come August, I will probably like take freshmen.
Oh, okay. And then you'll get to be with them
the next 4 years.
Oh, that's cool.
It's pretty cool. But yeah, those are so high school and nursery. But really just to get plugged in, I just started talking to the kids pastor at the time. It was super easy. I feel like the church is always looking for people to serve. Servant hearts. If you feel like you want to be doing more, serving at the church is just so rewarding and fulfilling, not only for, you know, the people that you're physically serving, but for yourself. It's like, oh my gosh, this feels so good.
I know. I did serve in the preschool group, I want to say sophomore year of high school, with Tyler, shout out. And we did like the preschool kids, and it was super fun to like bring all them into the little like room and dance and do all the stuff with them. Like it just felt so fun to be like, I don't know,
it's cute.
Helping them like that. Because I used to be in those positions. Like I remember being just like in that room on the other end, like being the preschooler and learning all this stuff and like just loving being there. So
well, and it's like, so Kason, who's 4, you know that, he came home the other day and he was like from church, and he was like, Jesus's mom and dad is Mary and Joseph. And I was like, that is so sweet. Like, obviously, like, I tell him these things. We read our Bible, blah, blah, blah. But it really stuck with him when he did, like, a coloring page at church. And I'm like, wow. Like, and that wouldn't be possible without those coaches. So, yeah.
No, I love that. I know. I feel like it's so important to just, like, pour into whether, like, the church or just, I don't know, like, serve in any way you can, whether that's at church or not. But, like, I don't know. I like how you love it so much. Like you talk about it all the time.
I know.
And it's like, I don't know.
It just makes me feel good. Like I'm just such a servant. Like God really blessed me with a servant heart, and I just feel so fulfilled by it. So
that's good. Yeah, that's good. I love that.
I love it.
My hand is like shaking right now. I don't know why. Like just my hand. Everything else is fine. The Alani's getting to me.
The energy drink.
I'm like, do I need to switch hands? I don't know what's going on.
She's gone mad. Maybe you're sweating because you're like, she's gonna ask me to serve with her again.
I need to switch.
I want Jamie to serve with me, but she lives too far.
I know.
So we're gonna share another GoFundMe link for a new car, for a Tesla,
and for me to move out and closer.
So basically, this whole podcast, we just want your money. I'm just kidding. That's so bad.
She doesn't mean it, guys.
No one clipped that.
Anyway, how?
Next question.
Oh yeah, sorry.
You want me to read that one? You read.
It doesn't matter.
I'll read it since you read the last one.
Okay.
How to find... Okay. Duh. I wrote that question. So weird. How did you find a God-loving community? Or how could somebody find a God-loving community or start up their own Bible study?
I think, well, out of personal experience, I know you started the Bible study through social media. I think social media can be used as in such a good way. As I know we were talking about how it can be really bad, but I think if it's used in the right way, it can be so helpful, and I'm very thankful for it because I know like she had the courage to post on her story like, I want to start a Bible study, like, do you want to join? And like people answered, and like that, it was kind of, I want to say like easy as that, like someone, all you had to do was post and kind of see who was interested. And then I also think, I mean, in order to find like just a God-loving community, like church is just a really good place to find your group of people that are your home, and that, you know, they are going to follow you and then want to be on your Bible study. So, but I think, and just like being genuine around everyone. So like when you're meeting people, just being your genuine version of yourself. And I don't know, to me, I'm like, I want to fully show like I'm Christian, and you're going to know that when I'm out. And I think that's how you kind of build your community, because people are going to come to you and they're going to be like, oh, like the amount of coworkers I've had that have opened up to me after like starting this podcast and me being a lot more open, like they've opened up to me, and like it makes me feel so good. I'm like, you feel comfortable enough to come to me? Like, I love it. And I love hearing like they'll tell me their testimony, and like I just love it. I love it. But
I think there's a lot of power in being vulnerable, because like it is scary, you know, posting on my social media like I don't know. I guess I don't really care about people's judgment of like, oh, she's a weird Jesus loving freak. Like, I don't care. You can think that about me. But maybe there's a sense of like fear of rejection. Like,
Yeah.
okay, out of the 100 people who saw it, maybe only 5 people swiped up. And so at first it was like is it a me thing? Do people not want to do Bible study with me? Or like, but no. I think it's just like putting all of your thoughts aside and just like going for it and finding that community at church, through social media, friends of friends. I think just like what you said, being your true authentic self, and like naturally your friends will fall like into place.
You end up being like naturally inviting.
Yeah.
And that brings people to your, like, I don't know, to your space. And I also think like if you're interested in joining one, maybe not starting one, like you can always go to your church or a local church or something and be like, I'm looking for a Bible study. And then again, I know like there's probably like Facebook groups too. Like, I know like it's just as long as you're like genuinely like wanting to do it, I feel like as long as you like look it up, whatever, like you'll be good. Yeah. And like, I don't know, I feel like anyone at church is like usually really nice. They're not gonna be like, no, you can't join. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and ours isn't anything crazy. Like it's not some like elite club. Like we literally just yap about Jesus for an hour and a half, among other things. Yeah. Like it's literally just having that community of where we can go to each other about anything and know that like we're really gonna pray for each other and be there for each other. And it's just not as intimidating and like difficult as I think it sounds when you're not in one. Yeah. So I think just like going for it with like the best intentions and a lot of courage.
And pray over it. Yeah. And then another question, do you still have doubts about God?
That is a good question.
I know, I like this question a lot.
So I do want to reference James 1:5-8. Please hold.
That's so funny. I wrote down James 1:3. So
oh wow,
I'll share it after. But James must be a good one.
I like you, James.
Oh,
James is my nickname sometimes. Like
me
with
too.
some of my friends.
Me too.
Oh yeah, your name's Jamie.
Oh yeah,
too. I forgot.
Oh yeah. I know. I would be called. I know one of my teachers called me like James Brown.
Oh really?
Up. Yeah.
Half of my friends call me James, and half of my friends call me Jimmy. I don't really. I
also get called Jimmy. My brother calls me Jimmy, and my coworkers. So weird.
Yeah. And I always used to get called Jamie Lynn, which your name actually is Jamie Lynn.
That's actually my name.
I'm like, I'm not Jamie Lynn Spears. Thank you very much.
I am.
I'm just kidding. Anyways.
Yeah, I forget I did that.
James 1:5. If you need wisdom, ask our generous God, and he will give it to you. He will not rebuke you for asking. But when you ask him, be sure that your faith is in God alone. Do not waver, for a person with divided loyalty is as unsettled as a wave of the sea that is blown and tossed by the wind. Such people should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. Their loyalty is divided between God and the world, and they are unstable in everything they do. Period.
Yeah.
So I think to answer that question, I don't think that I doubt God. I am like fully aware of what he's capable of, and you know, I've witnessed him firsthand save me many times. So I don't doubt him, but I think what I struggle with is surrendering it all over to him and fully trusting, and not even trusting in him. Like, of course I trust him, but I guess being able to let it go and know that,
and like not let yourself kind of let that go and
not be so in control of everything. It's like you don't need to control everything. Like you're wearing yourself down, literally. Yeah. So I don't think I doubt him ever. I know that he is amazing and, you know, the best thing that could have ever happened to me. I just need to work on allowing him to move those mountains in my life.
Yeah, 100%.
What about you?
So I'll read James 1:3. It says, "For you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow." And I just think like I fully believe like in God. Like I don't doubt that he exists. I don't doubt that he doesn't have control over my life or anything like that. Like I fully believe in him and everything like that. But I agree. I think I struggle with like trusting in him and allowing him to actually, I don't know, like letting myself to, it's like so hard because it's like I trust him.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. It's like a us problem.
Yeah, it's like I just can't surrender. Yeah. For some reason, like I have to be able to let things go, and for some reason I can't sometimes. Or I don't want to say I can't. I am trying not to.
You know what maybe like our reasoning is? Like maybe we just felt so like not in control our whole life.
Yeah.
Probably. So now we're like, okay, I want full control, and it's like, okay, well, that's kind of disrespectful to God in a way, because
Yeah.
it's like, hey, if you want me to be like the number one thing in your life, like you're not allowing me to be, like you're putting
Yeah.
your desires and you know what you want in front of me.
Yeah, I think it's normal to have like doubts.
Yeah.
We talked about it before, like spiritual warfare, like having
Yeah.
some doubts is so normal.
Yeah.
And I think like don't ever like freak out that that's a problem. But I also think like acknowledging those doubts and being like, no, I want to let God have this place in my life, and I want to have a relationship with God, and that I don't want these doubts to come in between that. I mean, it's like kind of like every relationship you have in your life, like you don't want, you'll get doubts with every relationship you get, but you don't want to,
You don't just quit because
Yeah.
you're doubting. You're not like, oh, I'm gonna divorce you because I'm having doubts. Like,
Yeah.
no, you find other ways and
Yeah.
you just push on.
Yeah, exactly. I also wrote down Hebrews 11:6. I really like this one. It says, and it is possible to please God without faith. What? Hold on. Oh yeah, I was reading that wrong. Hold on.
Hello?
And
Is anyone there?
no, I'm struggling right now.
You're doing great.
And it is impossible to please God without faith. Anyone who wants to come to him must believe that God exists and that he rewards those who sincerely seek him. I think, just like I was saying, like it's so important to like let yourself recognize, okay, this is a doubt. This isn't anything else besides that. Like don't give it more power than it really is. And then actually kind of discerning where is this coming from? What am I allowing in my life that's allowing, or that is taking away from my full trust in God?
Yeah.
And just being able to get rid of that, like have that discipline to be like, no, like that's a doubt, and it's gonna stay a doubt, and it's gonna leave. Like, you know, it's not gonna actually cause change in your life. And I don't know, I feel like that's how I go about it. But I would say, like, if you doubt like his existence, it's not like that's probably like Satan being like, oh, you're interested in God? No, don't be, you know. But I think once you actually like get in your Bible, do the research, like it's all factual. Like there's so many proven things. So I think just like you have to have that faith and know that like you might not be able to see it, but it's there. And like that's all what faith is.
Exactly.
So yeah, hopefully that answered how you were asking. But
yes, ma'am.
What do you do when people mock or disrespect God in front of you?
Oh, it was my turn to ask, huh?
It doesn't matter.
Oh, well.
It doesn't matter.
I forgot. Okay. So I wrote down Galatians. So let me turn to that really quick. Please hold.
You're good. You're good. Do you want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So I wrote down a whole section. I wrote down Matthew 5:43 through 47.
Dang.
And personally, like, I get really hurt when people disrespect God in front of me, and I get like almost like sad because I'm like, that's the person that, or that's who I am living for. Like that's my every reason for living and breathing.
Yeah.
But I found this and I just thought that it helped me too. And if you haven't noticed, we're trying to get better at actually diving into the Bible and giving more of that background, because I want that for me personally, but also just to, that's the most factual way we can answer these questions. But anyway, so Matthew 5:43 through 47. You have heard the law that says, love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say, love your enemies. Pray for those who persecute you. In that way, you will be acting as true children of your Father in heaven. For he gives his sunlight to both evil and the good, and he sends rain on the just and the unjust alike. If you love only those who love you, what reward is there for that? Even corrupt tax collectors do that much. If you are kind only to your friends, how are you different from anyone else? Even pagans do that. I just thought that was really powerful because it's like, that's so true. It's so much easier to like love who loves you and hate who hates you. Like, I think it's just so important to simply pray for them. Like when they're disrespecting or mocking in front of you, just stay strong. Don't fall into it. Like don't like include yourself in that conversation. Or depending on who it is, you can like speak up and be like, don't, like, hey, I just find that disrespectful. Can we not have this conversation right now, or whatever?
Yeah.
And then leave that conversation and have their best interest at heart and realize like that is, even if they are being disrespectful and mocking God, like that's still their son or daughter. And kill them with kindness, like they say. Like you have to pray for them and want them to find Jesus, and by maybe like responding in a negative way or yelling at them back or being rude to them, that's not going to bring them closer to Jesus. So it's like that's not going to do any good. So I would just say like prayer is the strongest way.
I mean, even I think the most powerful thing in all of this is, you know, Jesus saying, forgive them for they do not know what they have done. Like, oh my gosh,
that makes me emotional.
Yeah, no, me too. Every time I hear it, I'm like, oh. But yeah, no, that was super good. I think, you know, the power of prayer, especially behind closed doors, I think it's like, of course, like you feel offended because Jesus literally is our reason for breathing. And it's like, okay, well, I would never do that to you, and about like what you find, you know, your value or worth in. So it's like, okay, that's kind of disrespectful. But
yeah,
I think, you know, just seek ways to do good for them. Seek ways to show your Christianity and your love for Jesus, and just really pray that God changes their hearts. But I did want to read Galatians 6, 7, and 8. Do not be misled. You cannot mock the justice of God. You will always harvest what you plant. Those who live only to satisfy their own sinful nature will harvest decay and death from that sinful nature. But those who live to please the Spirit will harvest everlasting life from the Spirit. So yeah, just, you can't, like, I guess you can't mock God. Like, it's just, it's none of, and it's also not my business. So it is, but it isn't. Like, that's your place. That's where you're at with God. And so as, you know, a Christ follower, I'm going to pray for you, and I'm still going to treat you with love and kindness. I don't appreciate that, but it's not my place. Like, I think I mentioned this in another episode of, like, they'll have their time, you know, when they get to the gates. Yeah. And that's for them and God to decide. But I just don't think that, you know, making a big, huge scene, if someone was like right in front of me, like just saying awful things, like, I don't think I would make a huge scene like, you're wrong, like Jesus loves you, because I just don't think that for me, I would just keep it like, okay, there's a lot of power in prayer. There's a lot of power in, you know, what goes on between me and God in my alone time. And I'm just going to keep it at that. You know who I really, really love and respect, though, is Bryce Crawford. He is so good at, I just think I'm not there yet. He is very, like, wise about defending people who mock Jesus, you know. He will go up to strangers on the street who are, like, saying these terrible things about Jesus, and he'll be like, I'm so sorry that happened to you. I love you so much, without even being pushy. Like, this is why you should love Jesus. Like, he's just like, no, I'm going to offer you this unconditional love because that's what I'm called to do. And I would love to get there one day. And that kid's only like 21. Like, he is so wise.
It's amazing. I agree. I think that being able to just, you know, look at them and be like, I'm going to love you anyway. Like, you have to be Jesus in that position. What would Jesus do? Like, you're wearing a bracelet that says, what would Jesus do on it? But you have to like sit there and think, okay, what would Jesus do in this situation? He would just be like, I love you. And then he would, you know, pray for them, whatever. But it's like acting the same way that they are just shows that you're on that level. And it doesn't show that there is a difference between you guys. And that's not going to bring the person to want to know Jesus at all. Right. So I don't know, I like that one.
No, period. Okay, so then to hop into the next question, how can you hear from God?
Personally, I hear from God the most when I'm listening to worship music. I just feel his presence so deeply when I'm listening to worship music. I wish I had a good enough voice to be a worship singer, worship leader. I wish, but it's fine.
Do it. They have like auto-tune and stuff.
Do they? I'll buy it.
They do.
No, I was like, the other day, I'm gonna be so honest, yesterday I was like, should I get a voice coach?
Dude, I've always thought that. Like, I wish that's something I would have done. Just, and to be on stage worshiping, like, that has to feel so powerful.
Love it.
Being the one to lead it, and like you have all these people just
I
Oh,
feel
yeah.
nothing deeper than worship music. Like,
Yeah.
I just feel so close to God. I get like chills and I cry every time.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so good. And I also think getting in your Bible more, like, I'll be so honest, like, yeah, you can listen to worship music and all of that, but until I started Bible study and like actually regularly got in my Bible, I didn't really know what I was like listening for, if that makes sense. Like, I didn't know
Right.
how to hear from God. So I found a verse in Proverbs. It's Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. Seek his will in all you do, and he will show you which path to take. I think just really putting your trust in him and realizing like he has all power over your life. Like, he could literally do anything in your life. So putting him first and knowing what he sounds like by reading the Bible and knowing his character and who he's going to be for your life and how he is for others is just like the best way to hear from him and how to hear from him. I
Yeah.
feel like.
I also too think that God talks to us even when we don't think he's talking to us. So something that I've kind of shifted in my mind is, okay, is God just not telling me what I want to hear? You know,
Yeah.
like he probably is speaking to me, but I'm probably just like, you know, well, that's
Tuning
not
it
what
out.
I wanted, so I'm just gonna pretend like I
Yeah.
didn't hear you. I think that's superhuman to do.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not my will, then it's not the way that I want.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty much what you said. I think the power of prayer, again, just your heart posture. When he speaks, you obey him and he'll keep speaking to you. If he's giving you all of this direction and you're just like, ignore, like, why is he, like,
Why would
what
he
are you
speak?
doing? Why are you
Yeah.
still asking him for help if you're just
Yeah.
going against everything he's saying? And obviously it's your heart posture, because you're not going to get an answer from God and the next day you're going to be like the super sinless, saved, changed person. Like, you're still going to fall short, but that's like why Jesus is so great. You know,
Yeah.
we're able to fall short. It's about our heart posture and just what we want and who we are and
Yeah.
everything you said. You say everything good, and then like when it's my
Stop.
turn, I'm like, I
That's-
second
well,
that.
I feel like the answers are kind of like
Yeah.
that. Like, whoever answers first is like,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's everything,
I
yeah.
piggyback off that.
Yeah, period.
What is something that you struggle with the most that you feel is ungodly?
So
like that one.
something for me, I would say, is just cursing. And it's something that you kind of put on my heart a while ago, because I pointed it out to you and I was like, you don't ever say bad words. She'll literally be like, oh, fudge. And I'm like,
I literally, yeah.
and I like was joking and I was like, you sound like just so sweet, like a little girl. Oh, dingleberries
yeah,
or something.
literally, I'm like, shoot, dang it.
I was like, do you ever cuss? And you were like,
no.
no. Like, why would I put that out there? Like, what you put out there is what you're going to invite in. So why would I like put out anything that's hateful?
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, why would I allow hateful speech to come out of the same mouth that worships my God?
Yeah.
I just don't feel like that's very appropriate. And I don't know. I don't like it.
I
It
know.
was just like a switch. Like, for me, I was like, no, cursing is fine. Like, they're just words. We made these words,
Yeah.
whatever. But then the more I thought about it and what I just said of how can I worship my Lord from the same mouth that, you know, all this hateful stuff is coming out of,
Yeah.
I'm just like, that just doesn't add up. Like, we just need to drop it. It doesn't make you feel good. It also just like sounds trashy. Like, I'm sorry guys, but
Yeah.
and I have done it a lot. Like, I've cursed a lot in my life. I just feel like that's how me and my husband are when we joke around. It just slips out and it's just so easy.
It is really easy.
It's like everything we consume, the music, the TV, all of it is just like, it just normalizes it. And you're like, okay, these are just normal words.
Yeah.
But
And like, even if you don't feel like you have bad intentions behind them
Yeah.
whatsoever, it's like one of those things, like anytime I would tell anyone like, oh, I don't cuss, they're like, okay, like
Yeah.
you're
Like,
what are
good
you, a
for
little
you.
girl? Like,
Yeah.
good for you. And I'm like, no, it just doesn't feel like my
Yeah.
character. And I just think like Jesus wouldn't curse.
Right.
Like, so I'm not gonna like,
Yeah.
and it just, to me, it doesn't add anything to the conversation. It doesn't add any,
Yeah, no,
like,
not at all.
I don't know, any depth to the conversation. Like, if anything, it just makes it like, oh, Yeah,
just
if
like,
anything, it could make it come off worse. And it's like,
Yeah.
I just have, I don't know.
I feel like for me personally, it just like dumbs me down. And I don't know, like you would see me, you know, checking all the boxes, serving at church, whatever, this godly woman, and I'm like cussing over something so stupid. I'd be like, ew, like, are you okay? Like, what? Your words don't even make sense. Like, what are you saying?
Because it's like you can have it's like, okay, they say like your actions are what matter, your actions are, but your words do too.
Yeah,
like
they
you have
hold
to realize,
power.
like, both hold so much power, and it's like, I don't know, I want to be a well-rounded person.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I don't know.
What about you?
Did you have, okay, I was like, did you have any more?
No, yeah.
I mean, the list goes on.
No,
Just
I
kidding.
have plenty, but I think that's like,
Yeah.
you know, the number one that I struggle with. There's
Yeah.
there's road rage, there's
I
there's
could have a list.
gossiping,
I could have a
there's
list. I did kind of like that. I did just being judgmental or like
Yeah.
wanting to know everyone's business. I really like, I don't know, you can maybe put your sense in this, but like I don't feel like I'm a huge gossiper. Like I really don't like to gossip, but what I do like is to know people's business. Even if like I just want the information and then just to like, I'm not going to do anything with it. I just want to know. I
Yeah.
don't know what it is. Like I'm like, oh my gosh, your mom's name? Like I'm like just like random things. I'm like, I would literally want to know everything about everyone.
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't need
That's
to do
exhausting.
that. It is exhausting. And it's
Yeah.
like along with that is just be me judging people. And like I don't do it out loud, but I do in my head. And that's what like I don't want. Okay, it's great that I don't do it out loud, but I also don't want to think those thoughts.
Yeah.
I think a lot, like something I am constantly thinking is like, what would Jesus do? I literally think about that all the time.
Good thing
I've
you have
brought
a
it up.
bracelet.
I know. I'm
You
not wearing
need
it
to
right
put
now,
it
but I'll
on.
go put it on. But it like, I just think about it all the time,
Yeah.
and I try to place myself in the shoes of like, I would want Jesus to look at me and be proud. Like
Yeah.
I would want to try and be the best person I can be for Jesus because of like what he's done for me. And like I just don't think that judging the people that he literally died for does anything. Like it doesn't do anything. I feel like
yeah.
a lot of it is just like nonsense. Like it doesn't make sense to it's so easy to because
Yeah.
that's just what the world is like everyone posting their self on social media and just like talking about everyone and like all these things. It's so easy to fall into those traps. So I really want to do better at like holding not only like my words or actions accountable, but like my mind and like
Yeah.
making sure that even on the inside of my mind I'm not thinking poorly about people
Yeah.
or wanting to know their business for no reason.
Yeah, well, and I think that's equally as important because it's not like you're, you know, spreading people's business and like actually
Yeah.
gossiping. But I think, you know, sometimes knowing less is better.
Yeah. It's just
because
'cause-
then it doesn't taint your opinion on them, and it doesn't, you know,
It doesn't
what
take
good
my
is that
energy.
knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah. What good is that knowledge doing for you of somebody's choices, you know? Like,
yeah, none.
it's so human to like automatically kind of be judgmental, which I hate, and obviously something we need to work on. But if you don't even ask for that information, then you don't have a like
You don't have that opinion that you
Right.
can create.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to be, I don't know, I already said it. Like I just
Yeah.
want to be well-rounded and
Yeah.
not be like very worldly. Like I feel like I
Yeah.
am trying to stray as far away from being a worldly person and like I feel like ever since I like actually made these active like goals in my life, like people are noticing
Yeah.
from work or Corey or like I don't know, I feel like it's getting noticed and that just only pushes me more to be
Yeah.
like I just want to be better for you and for God and for Jesus and for everyone. Like I just want to be a better person for myself too.
Yeah.
And like it's just wasted energy. Like I'm really spending my time doing this. It's just as bad as people spending their time
I
leaving hate
know.
comments.
Well,
or
and it's so
whatever.
crazy that like just how many things have changed for us like since our heart posture has changed. Like since I truly set my heart on Jesus, so many things have changed. Like
Yeah.
the urge of not wanting to cuss, the urge of not wanting to know people's business because I don't want to form judgment. I just want to love them.
Yeah.
The urge to just love like Jesus.
Yeah.
It all has like hit us so naturally, and that's what happens when you truly dive into this. Like this is the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah, because it's like I'm not looking for anyone else to give me my worth. Like
Yeah.
I know my worth is in Jesus, and I don't need any of the like.
Yeah.
I don't need to know their business. I don't need to judge them because like I'm good.
Yeah.
I feel like when you're usually like judging people and stuff like that, it's like, hey, you have nothing better to do with your time. Like you are, which again, this is something I'm working on as we speak, but it's like, you have nothing better to do. Like why don't you spend that time? You could spend that time reading your Bible. You could spend that time praying. You could spend that time serving some, like you could just do so many better things. And it's like, I don't want to waste that energy, because I feel like I've talked about it before. Like, I always feel like I need like a rest day, which is very normal, but it's like almost because my brain is just so like full of information, and I just need to like not think about anything for a day. And I think by getting rid of like unuseful information and like not having the desire to know things that I don't need to know, like it's just gonna take a lot off my plate. Hopefully that works. I did not write down the questions that were for you to answer.
Oh, that's okay.
If you want me to ask them to you, I can. Or
there's just a couple. Number 8.
In what ways do you fear for your kids as a mom, and how do you lean on God?
So this question is good, but it also like got my brain moving, just because like people always ask me like, aren't you scared to put your kid in public school? Aren't you scared of what, public schools are teaching our kids? Aren't you scared of like this, that, whatever? It's scary, sure. But when you have full trust in God, it just switches your perspective. So, I mean, I fear for my children's safety in the sin-filled world, because, humans are capable of doing anything, unfortunately. But I find a lot of peace, and I'm excited to navigate those as they come. Just of, they want to teach my son something that I don't find appropriate. I'm excited for the opportunity to biblically teach Kason the real answer. Yeah. But also with compassion of like, some people believe this and this is against God's word, but it still exists and it's still a thing, and it's still important to know, because we are called to love everybody. So I think, knowledge is power. We should know everything at a certain age. Yeah. Given it is a little early what they're doing at school. But I just try not to put these fears in my head, because it's like, we'll get there when we get there. Yeah. And I'm not gonna, people are also like, with how the world is right now. And it's like, you can only say that because this is the only time that you've lived. Yeah. There have been wars. There's been so much tragedy in the past that we haven't experienced because we were born later. Yeah. So it's like, it's always going to be you're going to bring kids in to this world at this time. That's always going to be it. Yes, I'm going to bring kids into this world. Like, if not now, when? And my kids have a shot at being a light for people. The people who don't have it so great, or the people who are misinformed, XYZ. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but I really like I find a lot of peace in just like, I'm not scared, really. I am eager, like I'm excited to hear like what you got, what you learning today.
Was the tea buddy? Today, but
and just redirect it of like, hey, that's not real. Like let's find, this is the only true thing in your life. Let's find the true answer and let's redirect our brain. And I think I find a lot of peace too in knowing like I'll be able to create just a household for my kids where we talk about everything, where they feel safe to come to me about anything. And, if they're interested in dabbling in crazy worldly things, then I want them to talk to me about that. I just want them to tell me everything. It's all normal. Come to me, like, let me help you through this. Yeah. And I'm rambling.
No, you're good. No, your answer's so good.
I get nervous.
Just like you were kind of saying, like just being so confident in God and what, like you've had, this time to be able to like work on yourself to be the mother for your kids. And obviously your kids wouldn't be here if God didn't want them here. Right. God brought them here for a reason, and God put the desire to have kids on your heart. And I think just the fact that you're able to grow yourself, be so strong, so that when the time comes to, have those conversations with your kid, like you can be so firm in God's word and be able to just teach them what you know. And, I think raising them in a godly household obviously is going to help, because they'll kind of know, like, you obviously set those boundaries first, and like, you know, they'll go to school, whatever, learn stuff, but then they'll come home and, like you said, you'll be able to be like, okay, that is going to be in this world, but this is what God wants for us.
And that's important for me, I think, is like, I don't want my kids living in this bubble where like it's just all perfect and they never see like what is actually out there. I want them to be exposed to things to a certain extent. I want to protect them as much as I can, but I also want them to know like what this world has to offer, you know,
and show like, well, this is worldly stuff, and that's what, like, it's almost like those then you'll get those worldly consequences, and like not necessarily like putting them in danger, but like you said, like, it's like protecting them, but also allowing them to see like what the world can
play
be
stupid
like.
Games, win stupid prizes.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, the next question was for you, and it is, how do you combat being self-conscious while pursuing social media?
I really like this question, actually, because recently, for the first time, I had someone come up to me in public and say that they liked my videos on TikTok and all that stuff, and like, I was like, what is happening right now? Like,
you're like, yes, I'll give you an
like,
autograph.
I know, I'm like, come back, I want a picture with you, please. Like, I just was like, oh my gosh, I wish she didn't like run away so fast, but I was at work, so like, it was busy and whatever, but like, for a while I've been really discouraged because I had someone like take a bunch of my content and then like turn it negatively, and like literally are just still out there putting my content and like all my videos they screen recorded, so like they just keep doing it over and over again. But I just got really discouraged because I was like, okay, I'm deleting all these videos, I'm not posting this anymore.
And those videos like blew up, like that other account. And it's just like, you just stole all of my work, and you're getting like,
and it's like, I put so much work into it. The amount, like, I kind of got to a point I was like, this takes so much editing. It takes so much like to plan out like what I'm gonna do, and like it's just like a lot. And I realized like, oh, this is why it's a job for people. Like, this is great, and I was having so much fun, so it just felt like, oh, that was just all taken away from me. And I had to kind of find a new thing to do, because I didn't want to post those things that they then took from me anymore. And so I like stopped posting mostly for a while, except for like random things here and there. But like, it's been hard for me to like find my niche or whatever. And until this person kind of was like, hey, I really like your videos, even though like I didn't post for so long. And I just was like, and I kind of felt like a little like keep doing it, because I like, that's sounds dumb, but it's my dream like to do that. Like, I want to be able to like post content, and like, I just love doing it. Like, it's such a good creative outlet for me, and I want to be a good influence on people, and I don't know, I just love it. So I wanted, like, if that could be something I actually can pursue, like, and I was getting close to that, and then it got taken away. So I was like, what do I do? But from the beginning, I was like really scared. And then I actually started posting like dancing videos with my roommate at the time. And then like, we were like, we got to do this. We'll just keep doing it until like some people see it. And it just kind of became like a fun thing. And then I was like, I want to do more than just like these dancing videos. And then I like kept posting, and I realized like, what do I have to lose?
Yeah, literally.
Like, so what if I get haters? Like,
yeah, even Jesus had haters, sister.
I know. I was like, I'm so confident in like my faith. Now, at the time when I like started posting, I wouldn't say I was as confident as I am now. Yeah. Obviously, I feel like I'm forever getting more and more confident.
Yeah,
but like,
it was scary at first.
Yeah, and I just think like, I kind of want to reference back to Proverbs. I just shared this with How to Hear from God, but Proverbs 3:6, it was, seek his will in all you do, and he will show you which path to take. And there was a point in time, I literally remember it, like I went to Chick-fil-A and I was like, none of my videos are doing good. What, like, and I was like talking to God, I was like praying to him, and I was like, just like, Lord, if this is what you want for me, take me there. And if it's not, that's totally fine too. Like, I'm okay if this is not what you have planned for me, but just know that if it is, like, I will do it all in your name, and I will forever, like, it is all because of you. Anything that I get, any success I get, that's from you. And if you don't, I'm okay with that. Yeah. So I had to like, I don't know, I had this like prayer with God, and I would talk to him about it like a lot, just being like, if yes, great. If not, no, like that's fine. And I just kind of was, I don't know, I had to be okay with like it not being a thing. Start by like praying and being okay with whatever the outcome is, and not maybe not wanting like, okay, if I get this many followers, if I get this many views, like focusing on that stressed me out for a while, because I did for a while. And that's when I like lost the desire to post anymore. So I just know that once I fully was like, it is in God's will. Like that's what I'll do.
Yeah.
After that was a long answer. Sorry.
No, it's good.
And then I didn't really write this one either.
It was good. Oh yeah. We have 2 more questions. Number 10.
Yes. When did you feel it was the right time to have kids, and did God provide any guidance?
So, when we had Kason, this was before, were you and Corey even dating? I don't think so.
We were dating.
I got pregnant in 2020.
Yeah, we weren't dating when you were pregnant.
Oh, okay. So, when we got pregnant, it was 3 weeks after Chaz's uncle was killed. And it was like a super tragic, terrible incident. If you Google his name, like you'll see everything you need to know. Like it was bad. And it was just so challenging. That was the first time that, I had ever seen Chaz hit his knees on the floor, like sobbing with his brothers, with his grown brothers and his grown stepdad.
My heart.
Yeah, it was so sad. And I knew him, like I met him a few times. Obviously, it's a different weight when it's your blood uncle. So I really felt for Chaz, and it was really hard for me to be strong for him. I just wanted to love him so well and help him and lift him up and just help him overcome this like tragic thing that just hit their family. And so we were just like, okay, well, how do we turn this tragic, dark thing that happened into something positive? I guess. I don't know if this is coming out right.
Yeah.
Just like, it's so dark. It's so gloomy. Life stood still. We were like, what just happened?
Yeah.
So we talked about the idea of trying for Kason. And so month 1, I got pregnant.
That's amazing.
And, that forced us to be happy. And I know that sounds crazy, but there was so many things that followed after I got pregnant. Was like George Floyd happened. It was during COVID. So it was just a very dark time. It was very sad. And it was just like, you looked around and everyone was sad and confused. And, we're dealing with this brokenness that just happened in our family. I didn't want my baby to feel any of that. And so really, like, I took that as let's get pregnant. And I don't know if that was selfish of me, but I think that it really helped me out of that year. I think a lot of people would agree that 2020 was a very not great year.
Yeah, it was hard.
It sucked.
Yeah.
It sucked. So I think being pregnant and just like not wanting my baby to feel those emotions like really got me through that. And I also just think that something so beautiful that me and Chaz got to share together was something beautiful to come out of such a dark season.
Yeah.
So it's hard because like it wasn't a super thought out thing that we prayed for, like God give me the answer of like when is the right time to start our family. It was just kind of like you know what, let's just like be happy, like let's just do something that's going to bring us out of this and like kind of be a redemption story in this terrible year. Yeah, the best thing to come out of 2020 is my son. So I mean, I knew I was ready. We weren't in any rush. I think maybe if 2020 hadn't happened, we maybe would have waited a few more years, but I'm so happy it happened when it did. I was able to have my first when I was 21. Oh my gosh, that's so young. My first when I was 24, my second when I was 28, like just what I dreamed of literally my whole life. So it all worked out. Yeah.
I love
long-winded.
No, that's
we need shirts that say certified yappers.
I know, like can't stop yapping or something.
Like, hey, give me a sign if I'm talking too much.
Yeah, literally. Oh, we do have one more.
Our last question
Make it
is,
count.
what are your favorite worship songs, artists, or podcasts?
Ooh, okay. I love this.
Since
question.
you're a worship queen.
Yeah, apparently. Who the sun? I'm just kidding.
Dead. Your answers
Sorry,
are going to
guys.
be the same as mine. So
Mine, I put Made for More, which no one steal this, but I want to get it tattooed. Okay. Made for More.
too late. I already got it.
Goodbye Yesterday and Gratitude, I would say, are like some of my favorite worship songs. Sorry, my hair keeps getting in my face and it's really annoying me. Anyway. And then podcast, I put like Whoa, That's Good. I love Sadie Robertson Huff's. Did she hyphenate her name, or is it just
I
Huff
don't know.
now?
I feel like it's just Huff, but I feel like like celebrities keep their last name because like they're known as like.
But anyways, her podcast I really love. Girls Gone Bible, we're actually going to soon because they're coming to Arizona
in May. I feel so inspired by them. Like I feel like I just want our sisterhood to be like as close as theirs. Like
no, I love it, and I wish that
we could be their friend.
Yeah.
Maybe
we can
lose
meet
your
them.
Brain
Hey,
right
by
now?
the way, yeah, I literally did.
Hey,
I was like, I wish what? What do I wish?
Friends.
But yeah, those are mine.
Yeah,
I guess Brandon Lake, good artist.
Well, and I think Sadie too. Sadie's like all that I used to listen to, and she really motivated me to do this podcast because I always felt so like unqualified. I'm like, no one wants to hear from me. Like, I'm literally just a girl. Like, nobody cares about what I have to say. But I just always listen to Sadie, and she just like. Just the way I felt from somebody else, like spreading God's word and God's love, I was like, I want to make people feel that way too.
Yeah.
And on top of that, love GGB, love Sadie, love George Janko, love Bryce Crawford, loved that Avengers 100th episode.
I'll never
literally
stop
that 3-hour
that
episode. It changed my life. I'm never gonna stop talking about it either.
Listen again, I think.
No, yeah, I listened to it twice, so I've spent 6 hours on that podcast. It's so good.
It's so good.
But yeah, and then Brandon Lake, Elevation Worship, all of the above.
Yeah.
Yeah,
love it.
I feel like we've been talking for so long.
Really? I'm just getting started. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, thanks
Next
for tuning
question.
in.
Just kidding. Anyways, if you have any other questions, just let us know.
Yeah, that
we'll
was
answer.
fun. We'll have to do like a part 2.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you guys give us some questions.
Get thinking. No, I'm just kidding.
Jamie's like, hurry.
Hurry.
Corey, ask me some questions.
No, just kidding. But anyways, we hope we answered your questions well.
Yes.
Yeah,
and we will see you guys next week. We have Taylor on the podcast. We're so excited.
Woo! So
yeah,
excited.
so stay tuned,
Nice.
and we will see you guys then.
We love you.
Bye.